So in 2007, you put out Human to Death Dance. It's a fan favorite. Some have considered it your best work. What inspired you to write Going Back to Rehab?
All right. Well, first of all, that was the first album that kind of got hated on that I released, the first studio album. In retrospect, it's not looked at like that. But, and here's a case of live by the internet, die by the internet. Back then you had to submit an album 4 months early to media outlets in order to get publicity. So this album leaked 4 months ahead of its release. So everybody downloaded it off of LimeWire and Napster and Kazaa. So by the time it actually hit the stores, it was old news for the fans who were chomping at the bit for another Sage Francis project. So the sales took a huge hit. It really didn't get much media response at all. It was like the honeymoon was over. I already had my first album on Epitaph. Here's the second one. They weren't really sure what angle to go at with their coverage of it. And Epitaph wasn't entirely sure how to push it because it wasn't as socio-political as A Healthy Distrust. I took a more personal approach on this, talked about personal matters, and Going Back to Rehab, probably the heaviest track on the album as far as that's concerned. Where I guess so the song is about exploring what it is to be an addict, to understand the addict, under the surface, I suppose. I don't know does it come across that way to you? I haven't really spoken to many people about Going Back to Rehab.
It definitely does.
Yeah.
But I think that people weren't sure if it was very personal or if you were just writing with like, artistic freedom, exploring the topic, or if it was like a personal story that, you knew people, a personal experience, that type of thing.
Yeah. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. I had spent way too many years on this earth, very angry and upset and confused because of drugs and what it did to people. And I blamed it on my lack of a relationship with my biological father. And it also affected other people in my personal life. But to me, it was like, instead of living in so much anger, try to understand it more and try to put yourself in their shoes. And that's a big part of it.
For sure, man. And when you talk about the actual, well, in the song, right? I mean, there's like a lot of like religious references throughout.
Yeah.
What was the reasoning for that? Were you trying to give that vibe that people turn to God during those times when they're trying to get clean, or?
Yeah, that's a mix of the AA stuff, the God stuff that's in AA, but also my father was like oddly religious, but it was because his mother, my grandmother, is an all-out atheist, completely card carrying atheist, and I don't know him turning into because it wasn't a regular subsect of Christianity. It was like so this is the speaking in tongues religion, where people speak in tongues, and they congregate not in churches but in like apartments, and I was exposed to that, and it really creeped me out. So all of that stuff is just always in my head. It always comes out in my writing. A lot of religious texts and ideas and imagery are littered throughout all my work. Although I wasn't like a church goer, and I just was always aware of it just because it's omnipresent. All Christianity, like I kind of came up in a Catholic town, but I was a Protestant, and my grandmother was Catholic, my grandfather was Protestant, but my mom didn't really force religion on me. She tried for a little while. I think she was like, this is boring.
Is a song like Going Back to Rehab one that you try to avoid listening to because of the darkness, the dark energy that it reminds you of that inspired that art piece?
No, I mean, I don't really listen to my music much at all. I used to a lot. But I really do like going back to songs like that because it reminds me of stuff. It kind of transports me back to certain times and places that inspired certain lyrics or an idea and a feeling. And it's just like to remember what I went through and what I did to address it. And it's like a weird conversation I have with myself when I listen to my music. So I do enjoy listening to those kind of tracks, but not casually.
What has the impact been on fans? Have fans talked to you about that song, like telling you like how much a difference it made for them hearing something like that?
Yeah. I don't know if they ever pinpoint that song, but I mean, I've had people give me their like 1 year sober anniversary chips and stuff like that. And people just tell me that, you know, what I've written has meant a lot to them and just to hear certain thoughts expressed that they hold within. And, not everyone's able to communicate it. And it, you know, they develop a deep connection to a certain track or album. Yeah.
Now, when you talk about that album, Human the Death Dance, leaking onto the internet, what was your immediate reaction when you discovered that happened?
I was pissed off. I was pissed off. And I was pissed off that people even on my message board were like sharing links to it and shit like that. And I was like, this is my livelihood at this point. You know, like you're really messing with my ability to like continue this career. And I didn't see how people were so cavalier about it. And
especially as an independent artist, you're not getting this crazy advanced like major artist or anything like that. Like you're, you know, really grinding it out here.
Yeah. So my love-hate relationship with the internet was at peak levels at that point. And I knew it hurt my relationship with Epitaph because the crazy dip in sales when there was no actual, like no need for people to go to the store to get it. They already had it and it was already old news to them. So they're like, when's the next shit? When's the next shit?
Right.
And that album also, what's crazy, I probably had 2 years worth of writing in a notebook. And I had a very bad breakup with my girlfriend who was living with me. And I was like, I gotta get out of this house. Like I can smell her, like her scent is in this house. It's in the sheets. It's like, it's driving me crazy. I'm leaving. So I left. I flew to Europe for like 2 weeks. I stayed in Amsterdam. I was just like doing whatever. I was just going, writing. I was trying to learn guitar. I was like having this, it might've been a midlife crisis. I don't know. But, I ended up having my bag stolen, which had my notebook in it, along with my passport, my cash, and my credit cards.
Shit.
Yeah, so I'm all alone in Amsterdam. Someone stole all my shit out of a cyber cafe. I'm the dummy. Like I wasn't paying attention. It just got yanked, right? So I had to go to the embassy and work all of that out. But then I felt like I was, all the things that I had put to page I couldn't recreate that. Like once I put it down, it's not like it stays in my head. So I had to start from the very beginning to write this album. And the first song I wrote for it was Clickety Clack, which is a revenge fantasy about whoever stole my shit. And yeah, so building that all up after, you know, having the breakup, having all my stuff stolen, then finally getting the album done and having that leaked online. So everyone just stealing the album. I was at a low. I was like, not in the best headspace for that.
Right. So there's possible, like it's a possibility that there's a Sage Francis notebook that exists somewhere if somebody decided to hold on to it.
Yeah, but it was just a thief, man. He probably just threw the bag in the trash and took the passport and the cards. And, like, I searched I searched many trash bins to see if I could find it, but yeah, no luck.
That's crazy, man.